It is officially mock draft season, at least for me. I know I'm late to the party, but this should be a fun one. And things will definitely change by the time the draft comes around, so I don't expect many of these picks to be right, honestly. But I will try my best to predict some of these or just make some fun picks that have a chance of happening but would be really fun if they did. And I don't think I'm gonna do any trades in this one. I might as I do more mock drafts, but it's so hard to predict trades that it's almost not worth doing. But I am super excited to get into this and all the mock drafts in general. And if you want to see another mock draft, be sure to like the video. It helps push these to more people. I would very much appreciate it. And it'll let me know y'all want another one. Let's see if we can get to 400 likes on this video. I have no idea what a good goal is. We might come nowhere close. Just like the video if you want another one. But without further ado, let's get into this. And with the first pick, we're not going to think too much about it. We're going to go with Caleb Williams. They could also keep Justin Fields. I would prefer not to. I still think he could become a very good player. I just don't know if that's going to happen for the Bears. So we're going to go with Caleb Williams here. We're going to hope they can add at least one other receiver either through free agency or the draft. I mean, hopefully more than that, but at least like one other good one to pair with DJ Moore, because Darnell Mooney was good to start off his career, but has not been good ever since. They definitely need more at receiver. Their O-line isn't great, so hopefully they can fix that up and create a good situation for Caleb Williams, because that is the most important thing for quarterback success, is an actual good situation. Seems pretty self-explanatory, but most quarterbacks don't do well if you throw them into a bad situation. Not that the Bears is the worst situation ever, but the better it is for the quarterback. And at number 2, again, pretty self-explanatory, we are going to go with another North Carolina quarterback in Drake May. You know, I like Sam Howell. I'm not going to lie though, I really like Drake May. Can definitely struggle with accuracy a little bit at times, but overall, I like him. You're going to need to fix the O-line for sure. I feel like it's overblown how bad the O-line is though. I feel like Sam Howell was just really good at taking sacks. So it's definitely still a need, but I'm not as concerned about it for the most part. And really, I mean, unless they trade down or sign a quarterback in free agency, like that's really the only option here. Maybe Jaden Daniels if you like him enough, but I don't know. And now number 3 is where this starts to get a little interesting. There are 2 possible answers here. If you don't feel that the rest of your offense is ready for a quarterback, then I would say take Marvin Harrison, because that receiving core is disgusting. And the O-line was pretty terrible this year too. But if they can get, say, at least one good receiver and then fix the rest of this offensive line through free agency in the draft, which we are going to assume that they do, we are going to go with Jaden Daniels. We're going to hope that they, again, the theme for the first 3 picks here is very similar. We're taking a quarterback, and how ready for a quarterback is the team is just the big theme for those first 3 picks. I don't know why that was so hard for me to say. So we're going to hope that all 3 of those teams are not going to ruin those quarterbacks. I'm sure if that happened, at least one of those guys would get ruined or just not work out. I don't know. But we are having 1, 2, 3 quarterbacks here. And finally, our first non-quarterback pick, it's going to be Marvin Harrison Jr. to the Cardinals. I mean, do I need to explain that? He's like one of the best receivers I've ever seen as a prospect. We're going to take him at number 4. I like Kyler a lot too. Pretty overhated. Their O-line isn't too bad. That offense could be really good. And now at number 5 is where we have kind of a question. We could go Malik Neighbors, who I like a lot, but Gerald Everett isn't currently under contract, I don't think. No, I mean, I like Malik Neighbors a lot. I do. Their receivers are not bad though. I mean, I liked Quentin Johnston as a prospect last year. I think it's weird to give up on him already, basically. I mean, I know Keenan Allen is older, but I don't know. If we're getting similar level prospects and one's a bigger need, I'm going to go with the one that's a bigger need. So we're going to go with Brock Bowers. And that pretty obviously opens up the door for Malik Neighbors to the Giants. Don't really feel the need to explain that one. This Titans pick is very interesting though. Should we go Joe Alt or Fashanu? We'll just go with Joe Alt. He's ranked higher here. Sure. I mean, yeah, left tackle was kind of a disaster for them last year. So we're going to go with Joe Alt. Enough said there. Now for the Atlanta Falcons, which if you're into Madden rebuilds, if you know what those are, if you didn't come from the main channel, that's a little surprising, but link to my main channel in the description. I just did a rebuild of the Falcons. It was a really fun one. We created a crazy team, but we gave them Jaden Daniels. He is not here. They are set to have, well, I guess they have futures contracts, but not counting those, they're set to have Drake London and Josh Ali as their 2 receivers. I mean, again, they have futures contracts, and they'll probably re-sign 1 or 2 of those guys, but that receiving core isn't great. We could also go Dallas Turner. I think I'm gonna go Rome Odunze, though. I mean, it is kind of a deep receiving class, though. Now, I'll go Rome Odunze. Just as of the current moment, Drake London pretty much being their only receiver under contract, we need to go Rome Odunze. And now the Bears back on the clock. I guess it's unfortunate for them here. Definitely a bit early for Brian Thomas or Keon Coleman or something, unless one of them has like an insane combine. I have no idea. You know, we could actually go Dallas Turner. Fashanu could be pretty good. Jared Verse, I guess. Fuaga, ooh, that could be kind of nice. This is a pretty good year if you need a corner or tackle in the first round. I don't know, they really mostly only need center. I mean, yeah, if we're talking O-line, probably. I know Nate Davis wasn't great, but oh yeah, and what if they paid Jalen Johnson? Ooh, that opens up some questions. I mean, I'm gonna hope that they'll pay Jalen Johnson, so we'll go with Dallas Turner. I wish there was a receiver still left here, but Dallas Turner definitely works too. And with him and Montez Sweat, that's a pretty damn good pass rush duo, hopefully. And for the Jets, Fashanu, enough said. For the Vikings at number 11, doesn't this team have like literally every player on their roster needing a contract? Yeah, pretty much. Well, it's not as bad as I thought, but Kirk Cousins, Jordan Hicks, Danielle Hunter, Marcus Davenport, DJ Wanham, that's not great. That's definitely not great. Pretty much their entire O-line depth needs a contract too. Their O-line has some holes to begin with, especially on the interior. I mean, their tackles are amazing, but I don't know what I'm gonna do about that. We could go Fuaga. Ooh. Now we definitely need to go edge here. They have Pat Jones and Andre Carter currently under contract, and that's it. Yeah. I like Andre Carter though. Shout out Andre Carter. Should we go with Jared Verse? Latu would be kind of fun. I like him a lot, but I don't think he's really mocked around this range anymore. He's more around like the 20 to 30 range, like in the 20s. So I don't know why he's still up here, but I do like him a lot. Don't get me wrong. I would be comfortable with him in this range right here. Let's go with Jared Verse though to the Vikings. You need pass rush after this year. Pass rush is like the 3rd most important thing in football. Maybe 4th. I would say quarterback, left tackle, maybe receiver, and then edge. Those are interchangeable, but I see teams with like bad receiving cores and they are just like the worst teams in the league, so I don't know. That's why I slightly lean receiver. It just depends though. And now the Broncos at number 12. They're an interesting one because if they cut Russell Wilson, we could definitely be looking at quarterback, but that still hasn't happened, so we're not going to bank on that. This is kind of a tough one, I'm not going to lie. They're honestly pretty fine on the O-line. Could go corner. Okay, I see people mocking him. Dallas Turner, he's already gone. Terrion Arnold could be fun. I struggle with his name. It's not that hard of a name. I'm just stupid. We could go Terrion Arnold, honestly. That's kind of what I was thinking. I see Bo Nix mocked. Bo Nix would be kind of fun. I wouldn't like JJ McCarthy. He would have to start immediately if they cut Russell Wilson, which would be why they would draft him, and I'm not going to do that. I wouldn't like that. Should we go Bo Nix or Terrion Arnold? You know what? Bo Nix is maybe the more fun pick here. Quarterback is more fun. Sure. Bo Nix to the Broncos. We're going to assume they cut Russell Wilson. That's fine. Probably not going to happen, but would be fun. Oh yeah, and that reminds me, I'm going to have a question of the day. I always forget to do these, but I actually remembered here. What player do you want for your favorite team in this year's draft in the first round? You don't have to do a full mock draft of your own team in the comments, but first round, who's a player that, you know, is in a possible range for your team that you would want? Obviously, let me know your favorite team too, but so the comment makes sense. But who's something you would want your team to draft round 1? I'm a Seahawks fan, so like I don't know. Fuaga would be cool. He's probably gonna go higher though. I honestly like Jerzon Newton more than most people do. I don't know. If it's a tackle that can play guard, cool. If it's a the Seahawks are a hard team to mock. We'll see when we get there. I don't want to spoil anything what I'm gonna do. But the Raiders at number 13 here. This kind of falls in line with the Vikings with their edge group, and the Falcons with their receiver group. The Raiders currently have Colton Miller, Thayer Munford, and Dylan Parham under contract in their offensive line, and Dalton Wagner. I barely know that name. I could tell you nothing about him. I think we're gonna go with Talise Fuaga here. I said that as weird as I could have. Talise Fuaga. He'll be the right tackle, has some guard flexibility. He could be a guard, theoretically. Some people don't value guard as much. I actually think it's pretty important. Again, that kind of falls in line with a lot of struggling offenses in the league are kind of struggling at guard. So wherever you want to play him, Fuaga's the pick. Sounds good. The Saints at number 14. I haven't seen too many mocks for them, honestly. Ooh, This is a weird one. What do we do here? You know, Michael Thomas needs a contract. I highly doubt he'll be back. It's just, do I want to take either keep the LSU connection. This is definitely a little bit rich for me, so I don't think I'm gonna do that, but that would be kind of fun, I guess. Wow, this is a really tough one. I'm gonna copy some other mock drafts. Who's mocked to the Saints? I do see Leatu Latu drafted here. I had a crazy idea. I don't think Saints fans would enjoy this very much, but JJ McCarthy at number 14. I'm not the biggest JJ McCarthy believer in the world, I'm not gonna lie. There is definitely a world where he could work out and he would need to sit and he would get the opportunity here behind Derek Carr. Oh, that's such a gross pick though. I don't want to do that. That's gross. I would feel bad doing that. I'm not gonna do it. I've seen Latu drafted here. That might be enough for me to not go with JJ McCarthy. This is just a hard pick, but we'll go Latu. Sure. I like him a lot. I also saw Chop Robinson. It's also a little rich for me. I also saw Dallas Turner and Jared Verse mocked a lot. They're not available here. Like, that's wishful thinking. I mean, one definitely could slip, but not here. Now, the Colts at number 15. I almost forgot they had Anthony Richardson for a second, not gonna lie. This might be the Terrion Arnold landing spot. I mean, I kind of do think he's the best player available. I also like Quinyon Mitchell a lot, though. I'm not gonna lie. I've seen a lot of hype for him lately. That makes me happy. He might honestly be the first corner off the board in the draft. We'll see. I guess it depends on the combine and just if the hype continues to build. I don't know. But we'll go Terrion Arnold here. Corner isn't great for them, so we'll add Arnold. We could also go with like a receiver, but still maybe a little early for one of them. And now my favorite team, the Seattle Seahawks. What are we gonna do here? I've seen Byron Murphy mocked here. I've seen Troy Fautanu mocked here. There's some tough names at tackle in this class. Like, I'm good. Think we're gonna go Troy Fautanu here. I mean, Damian Lewis, Evan Brown, and Phil Haynes are all due for a contract, and that line was terrible anyways. I mean, it was injured. That's why it was so bad. But if they lose all three of those guys, which I'm hoping they at least bring Damian Lewis back if possible, I don't know what's gonna happen there. We'll go Troy Fautanu. I know quarterback, listen, I don't mean to sound biased here. Even Seahawks fans hate him, which I do not understand. Well, I understand it. They look at his stats and they're not like great. They're not even that bad though, but like they look at his stats and they're like, oh my God, he's terrible. Geno might be one of the most underrated players in the league. He's like legitimately good. He's a little turnover prone, but he had so much pressure in his face immediately this year. This line was terrible. It wasn't even good to begin with, and then it got injured. Like every single starter was injured at one point. It was like Stone Forsythe, Jake Curran, Olu Oluwatimi, Anthony Bradford, and maybe one guard was healthy. I think like Phil Haynes was healthy, or no, like Evan Brown was healthy. So it was like 4 backups and a starter. It wasn't a good line to begin with. It was so bad when it got injured. So look, if they cut Geno, I'm gonna be like, whatever, they must have a plan, but I'm not gonna go with the quarterback here. Round 2, if like one of these guys are still available, definitely, but nah, I'm sorry. He looked pretty good for the most part. So we'll go Fautanu. I would honestly be fine if they drafted offensive line in the first 2 rounds. It sounds like Mike McDonald is definitely more trenches oriented, which thank God. You don't know how happy that makes me to hear. Like, that's all I've ever wanted in life. Anyways, long pick there. At number 17, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Free my man Walker Little. I would say they need offensive line, but I don't know, they kind of need offensive line. Luke Fortner hasn't been very good at all. Ezra Cleveland's due for a contract. Oh yeah, Josh Allen's due for a contract. Well, we're gonna hope they'll bring him back. We could go Chop Robinson here. I could kind of see that for some reason. I like envision him on the Jags in my mind for some reason. They actually don't have too many starters due for a contract though. It looks like Josh Allen, Calvin Ridley, who wasn't great, he was fine, and Ezra Cleveland. Their receiving core isn't great without Calvin Ridley though. I think we might go Chop Robinson and assume that they're not going to bring Josh Allen back. If they don't, that's a big mistake. He was amazing this year, but in the event that they don't, we're going to draft Chop Robinson. I think it would be a massive mistake to let Josh Allen go. He's one of the more underrated players in the league, at least based off this last year. But if they don't, we'll give him Chop Robinson. That sounds good. Now, the Cincinnati Bengals at number 18. I am not sure about the future of this team. They have so many contracts on offense coming up. They just lost their offensive coordinator, which, we'll see what happens there. Their tight end group is terrible. I mean, it's bad to begin with. All 4 of them need a contract. I'm not going to go with Jatavion Sanders yet. I do like him, though. I also like AJ Barner. Shout out AJ Barner. He's pretty good. Both T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd need a contract. I hate to do the contract thing for every pick, but I mean, what else am I supposed to do at this point? We're gonna have to assume the worst for all these picks, at least as far as their contracts go. Should we go with J.C. Latham? I mean, their O-line wasn't great to begin with, and they're set to lose Jonah Williams, which isn't really the end of the world, so should we replace him with another Alabama tackle? Could also go Brian Thomas, could go Keon Coleman. We could really keep the LSU thing alive, the Tigers to Bengals connection. There are good receivers in the second round. We're gonna hope they bring T. Higgins or Tyler Boyd back or sign a receiver. I really am not a fan of their O-line. Let's go with J.C. Latham. I like J.C. Latham. We'll just fill in at right tackle, and that should be good. Now, the Rams at 19 that's an interesting one. I mean, this is a bad team on paper. They just happen to have Sean McVay. I mean, it's not a bad team on paper anymore. This defense is pretty bad on paper, though. I mean, they have some guys for sure, but I mean, Aaron Donald, ever heard of him? Kobe Turner was a defensive rookie of the year candidate too. It's just which position should we go with? It's gonna be a defensive pick, I think. We could also go tackle though, because that's not a great group. I hope they re-sign Kevin Dotson, and Coleman Shelton was pretty good. I don't know. I think either way this team's gonna be fine because they have Sean McVay. Cooper DeJean, I've seen him mocked higher than this. Maybe he should have gone higher here, but I think he's gonna be the pick. Corner definitely isn't their strong suit. So yeah, we'll go with Cooper DeJean. And now the Steelers at number 20. Lots of great corners still on the board. Corner is kind of a need for them. They could also get crazy here and go with a QB. I don't think I'm gonna do that, but I guess they could. Oh, Patrick Peterson isn't due for a contract. How long did they sign him for? I thought it was a one-year deal, I'm not gonna lie. We could go Amarius Mims, one of the corners. Let's go with Nate Wiggins here. Maybe the best player still available. I don't know, the rankings are kind of weird here, so I'm worried there's gonna be someone ranked lower that's, probably gonna be a first-round pick or is like currently mocked in the first round that I'm just gonna forget about because they're listed lower here. Like Byron Murphy could go higher than this, I guess. He could also just go in this range though. I guess same with Keon Coleman, maybe. But let's go with Nate Wiggins here. And now the Dolphins at 21. It's suggesting Amarius Mims. I don't know about that. I mean, Austin Jackson was decent this year. And isn't Amarius Mims like 6'7"? I don't think I'm gonna play him at guard or something. Here, I think we might go with Jerzon Newton. I mean, this D-line is not gonna be good if they lose Raekwon Davis and Christian Wilkins and Deshaun Hand. Like, that's not a recipe for success. So yeah, Jerzon Newton's gonna be the pick here. The Eagles at 22. This could be a kind of fun Keon Coleman landing spot. That would be interesting. You know what? This might be kind of crazy, but I might go with Jackson Powers Johnson. I mean, this is a team that likes to keep their O-line as good as possible for good reason. We could also go corner here if we really wanted to. I mean, there are definitely some good guys left. And Jason Kelce is pretty much retired. They also have Cam Jurgens who they could, play at center. So I guess maybe we should go Graham Barton. I kind of like Jackson Powers Johnson more though. Yeah, we'll take him. He'll be their new center. We'll keep that O-line good. And now the Texans at 23. This could be another O-line pick. They took Juice Scruggs last year. I didn't love that one, honestly. We're gonna hope they can re-sign Jonathan Grenard. This team actually has a lot of contracts coming up too. Now let's go with a corner. Quinyon Mitchell or Kool-Aid McKinstry. I kind of like both, honestly. We'll go with Mitchell. I feel like he would be pretty fun there. Probably will go higher in real life. I mean, I guess you never know. Players fall all the time. Or maybe he just has a terrible combine. I don't know. That's the whole thing about mock drafts at this time. A lot of these players are just gonna go nowhere around here. But now the Cowboys at number 24. Amarius Mims. I'm not the biggest Amarius Mims fan in the world, but they are paying Terrence Steele though. Terrence Steele was pretty terrible last year, and I don't know about Mims at left tackle. Yeah, maybe Jordan Morgan? Okay, yeah, I could see this definitely being a controversial pick here, but I do think I'm gonna go with Jordan Morgan. I mean, this is a team that doesn't have like a ton of needs. I guess we could also go receiver there. Maybe Keon Coleman, Brian Thomas, maybe even Byron Murphy, I wouldn't mind. They just took Mozzie Smith in the first round last year though, so I don't know. That's definitely a tough pick. I would be fine with like a million different options there. Could even go running back, honestly, if you really wanted to. But the Packers at 25, we're coming down to the end here. This is kind of another tough one. We'll either go Kool-Aid McKinstry or Graham Barton. There, I guess, are some other options here, but we'll go McKinstry. They haven't really had, well, I was gonna say they haven't really had a good corner other than Jair Alexander, but they did have Rasul Douglas. They don't have him anymore though. So we'll bring in Kool-Aid McKinstry. Again, there are like a million different options here. They could even go safety if they wanted to. And at 26, Mike Evans is probably on his way out. out, this is definitely not a perfect roster. Like, guard they need, they might need safety, they kind of need tight end. I mean, Cade Otton's all right, but I think we are going to go with Keon Coleman here finally to the Buccaneers. And now the Cardinals with another pick here. I mean, this D-line is terrible. This is still just a really, really bad team on paper. I mean, their offense on paper is pretty good, but this defense, man, it is Budda Baker, and that's about it. I mean, they have some other decent players, but like, it isn't great. We're gonna go Byron Murphy here. Again, he could definitely go higher. He probably will, but that's just how this board falls. They have LJ Collier, Roy Lopez, and Jonathan Ledbetter as their 3 listed starters currently. I'm not a fan of that. So Byron Murphy is the pick here. Now the Bills at number 28. Another interesting team. They don't have any like massive needs, I guess. But this is just another team where it depends who they re-sign. Don't think Gabe Davis is gonna be back though. So we will add Brian Thomas at receiver. The Lions at 29 are also a very interesting one. They definitely need outside corner. That's probably their biggest need. This is kind of another team where this roster definitely isn't perfect. They could also go D-line, receiver, O-line, I'm not the biggest Ennis Rakestraw fan in the world, honestly. Well, I don't know. He would be worth it right around here. That's where he's projected to go. How about we get JJ McCarthy for the future? Nah, I don't know. Jared Goff was really good this year. No, let's go Graham Barton. Again, bringing up the contracts, but Jonah Jackson, Graham Glasgow, and Hal Vaitai are all due for contracts. So we'll go with Graham Barton here. Now the Ravens at 30. Receiver is still definitely a question for them. Oh, almost their entire defense needs a contract. Brent Urban, Justin Madubuike, Jadeveon Clowney, Malik Harrison, Patrick Queen, Kyle Van Noy, which, he was pretty good. Geno Stone, Ronald Darby, Arthur Mollett. I can't speak today. Yeah, that's not great, especially because, they lost Mike McDonald. I don't know, they honestly have pretty good depth at all those positions, other than corner, but I don't want to go corner here. What should we do here? This is kind of a weird pick. You know what? Let's just go with Troy Franklin. I mean, adding more weapons never hurts. I don't think they'll bring Odell back. I mean, I guess they could, but yeah, we'll go with Troy Franklin. And then the last 2 picks here, we're gonna go receiver for the Chiefs. We'll go Xavier Legette. I mean, I feel like that makes the most sense, get some speed at receiver that can actually catch the ball. We could go Mitchell, but I don't know, I feel like some more speed would be good. Just basically upgrade over MVS there, pretty much. And now last pick of the draft. Okay, well, like the entire 49ers D-line is due for a contract. We could go Braylon Trice. That would actually probably be pretty good. We could also go Amarius Mims. That might have to be the pick. I mean, yeah, best player available, sure. Some team will probably trade up for JJ McCarthy somewhere in here, but I think most of these picks make sense. But again, let me know who you want your team to take, like I said, or well, I guess I didn't say it, but keep it respectful if you disagree. A lot of these could definitely go a few different ways, and I have no idea if any of these are gonna happen. I'm sure some of these will be right in here, but who knows. But thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to leave a like if you haven't already, if you want to see another one of these. Subscribe for more, and I will see y'all again in the next video. Goodbye.